All right, so this is my review of Cassia from XesRay Studio, and this is a new release. So I got mine yesterday, and I bought it from 5ktoys.com. I paid a total of $48. That's not including shipping, and she's still in stock as of me filming this video. So if you're interested in this line, then you could still get her. I think 5K Toys is probably one of the cheaper prices you could get for her, so I'll probably head there quickly if you're into this figure. And from my experience, they do sell out quickly, so just something to keep in mind. So this is actually a new wave, and they do have some new updates and improvements to their figures from the initial Wave 1 figures that they released. Very unique line, very niche line, and if you're into this type of swords and sandals type, genre, then, this is definitely a line you might want to kind of pay attention to. So this is Cassia, and she's a Roman theme, obviously, and let's get a good look at her. Well, first, let me just give you the measurements on her. And, these are standard 112 figures, but let me just see how tall she actually is. So, a bit under 7 inches. She's like probably 6.5 to the top of her skull, I'd say, not counting her hair. So around 6.5 inches, a touch above that. So, you could still kind of fudge it in with your 112s if you really wanted to. And let me actually give you a weight measurement too. Just see how much she weighs. Around 3.5 ounces, so close to a quarter pound, which is very impressive, I think. And yeah, let's get a good look at her overall look. So I do like that the figure does they're not using kind of like the digital face prints that you're seeing on a lot of new like import figures and things. So I do like this, actually. It's, hand painted, looks very nice. And the armor definitely sticks out. Kind of like the color contrast, very nice metallics throughout. Looks very nice, I think. And the black armor especially looks great. And one thing I really like on this new line is, and if you bought the first wave like I did, way back when they first started this line, the joints had a lot of paint rub issues where, if you kind of flex the joints, if you move them around, you'd see paint flaking off, like the joints. So they actually it looks like they're just using a single colored piece here that's not painted, and that looks great. So definitely appreciate that. I'm not really a fan of the fabrics, but for capes, obviously, I always kind of prefer them to be fabric in this case. I would have preferred plastic for her kind of like tunic under here. That's just me, though. But very smart of them. They did make a cut here, and I think I complained about this in my first review for these figures, like my review of the Wave 1s. They didn't have a cut in kind of like the plastic that they use for the skirt. I had to cut that in myself, but they already went ahead and did that this time around. So they're definitely listening to the kind of feedback that they got. Yeah, very nice. Even like kind of like the straps here, she's got like metal and things all over, so looks great. Yeah, detail all throughout. Especially the hair, like they really got that kind of Roman look down pat. Okay, and I'll set her here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you how to kind of take off all her stuff, because that's kind of one of the selling points of this figure. And actually, before I do that, while I still have her armor on, let me just show you how you kind of get the helmet and things on. So you could take this hair piece off, and this is kind of what she's looking like. She does have a little peg insert there on the top of her skull. So first, you could use this alternate hair piece, kind of like the more warrior look, I guess. So that's definitely a good look for her. And if you want to put the helmet on her, you take this off. And let me show you what you could do with the helmet. So this is the helmet. Looks very nice. And you could also put in this kind of face piece. So you just kind of slot that in, you just line it up. Let me just do that over here. Yep, and that's what it looks like. So that looks great. And you really just slide it over her head. That's it. And if you could kind of see that, that was always a very cool feature of these figures. You can kind of see her eyes like peering out of there. That's very cool. I will say the helmet's a tad loose, but you could live with it. And that looks very cool, I think. So that looks stunning, I'd say. The purples are especially really cool. Let me show you how to kind of break down this figure, just because there are some things we need to talk about so you don't end up breaking the figure or damaging it in any way, because that would suck. So let's start with the shoulder here. And these are just straight pegs. You just kind of, and the cape, I kind of just went ahead and, it won't come with the cape on. You just have to kind of tab that in yourself. And, you know, just in general, be gentle. I will say from my review of Hilder, Gold Hilder, these figures don't feel fragile like they used to. Now, that doesn't mean, you know, go ahead and roughhouse with them, but they definitely feel less like they're going to break at any given moment. And, you know, just be gentle, just kind of wiggle and torque it out, and you can just take those out. That's it. So those are her shoulder pieces. Just going to put that on the side here. Okay, and now for her armor, I'd suggest just get her arms up like this. And if you've had XesRay figures before, they use these kind of tabs in here, which still suck. I'm just going to go ahead and say that right away. I still hate these. But before you do that, I would suggest that you kind of take off her lower pieces first. So just don't use too much force, and I'm going to just pop this off cam just because I can get a better grip. And do not use too much force, because if you're using too much force, you're going to end up breaking something. And I think the tolerances are great on these new figures. That took almost no effort. It was just the right amount of tension. So I'm going to leave this here for now. The belt pieces, you just kind of gently slide them off. These are all very flexible materials here. So just kind of squeeze, pinch, and then kind of slide them off. Start with this one. Takes a bit of finagling, but you'll get it. Okay, just take that off. Same thing with the dagger. Okay, and the armor, and just be very gentle with these kind of tab-in pieces. They're not as bad as the ones on the first wave, but they're still very difficult to take, to put back on. Taking them off is easy. But I will show you kind of how I go about it. And again, be very gentle. Don't ever tug or really clamp down on these. Be very gentle, because these could easily fray and get warped, and then you're never going to use it again. Oh, and just take her head off. Just do that off cam. And I'm very impressed, because they got the tolerances excellent. Like, it does not take force. And I remember I left a comment on XesRay's Instagram, and I was surprised they actually responded to all the criticisms I left there. And they said they were going to make sure that they actually, you know, kind of consider those changes in their new wave, and I'm damn surprised they did. So they actually listened, and this figure is a complete treat to take apart. And I remember I specifically complained about, and I'll just show you right now, they used to use these kind of like mushroom pegs, like mushroom-shaped pegs on their old figures, and they completely got rid of that. I told them that they could use these kind of straight pegs, and you know, I'm not taking credit for that. Like, that might have just been something on their mind already, but this is exactly what all figures needs to do. Like, they don't use those kind of nasty mushroom pegs, and all those complaints about breakages that you might have seen with the wave ones, were related to these kind of mushroom pegs. In the ankles, in the shoulders, so many complaints of breakages. Even mine broke. And then I had a tutorial up on Reddit how to replace it with Figma. It's still up there if you ever suffered a break on your first wave. And yeah, see, I just pegged it right back in. So these are a treat to work with. Okay, and let me just take this off, and I'm just going to put her back together just to show you her articulation. Okay, so nothing crazy about the articulation, but it really is decent. It's not like great, but let's start the head. It's on a barbell joint, so you do get nice movement there. She could look down that much. She could look up about that much with the hair. Good side to side, so you get that. Torso joint, I think that's pretty good. Not a whole lot of forward movement, which is unfortunate. She could go back a lot. Pretty decent side to side. And yeah, she does have some scuff marks from the armor. You could wash those off if you want to. Not a big deal. Arms, they go up pretty damn well. A bit more than T-posed. So definitely more than you'd ever need. And arms are on a single joint, but honestly, no real complaints because you get past 90. So good enough, I think. And the wrists are on a typical kind of like, ball swivel. Not a whole lot of movement with the arm guards on, but without them, you get decent movement there. You do get I don't think you get a lower joint actually on the torso. No, you don't. Okay, legs are on ball joints. And just to test kind of real world usage, you could kick out. Now, be mindful with the armor on, it's not even going to go up that high, just the way it is. And considering the sculpting on her, yeah, you're not going to get a whole lot of crazy movement out of the leg. But let me just show you the full split. So you get about that much. That was forward, backwards, not a whole lot for obvious reasons. And don't torque on the leg too much, otherwise you're going to mess up kind of like her undergarment there, which you don't want to do. Let me see. Knees, excellent kind of double bend on the knee. And I think that looks pretty organic. That looks pretty damn nice. It doesn't look like weird or robotic. Ankles. Use a much better joint this time. Very smooth. They really just feel like Figma joints. And I replaced the ankles on my old figures with literal Figma joints. And these feel like Figma joints. And you do get a nice, very nice swivel ankle rocker. Okay, and no butterfly joints on the shoulders that I know of. And if there is one, it's pretty much useless. That's weird looking. Okay. Yep, and that's about it for the articulation. So very nicely done, I'd say. But, mediocre. Nothing really crazy. Anyway, let me show you our accessories. So obviously the armor. Now, let me just give you a bit of advice with the armor and just really pay attention to this part, because if you're new to these figures, really pay attention, because this is going to save you a massive headache. It's going to avoid kind of scuffing your fingertips trying to get these damn things on. So what I would suggest you do, and let me actually just pull it out, give me 1 second, to peg these back in, is use a little tool like this, like some kind of burnishing tool. And if you ever did like putty modeling or anything like that, you might have one of these lying around. And what you want to do is kind of use this instead of your fingers to kind of play with these and really just squeeze these back on. And don't be afraid to use a little bit of force, but don't like pull or cut at anything. Just like pinch down on it with a flat of something that's not going to scuff or cut into the plastic. And that gives you so much more leverage than using your fingertips. And if you have big gorilla hands like mine, or just like fleshy fingers or whatever you want to call them, this is going to make your life so much easier. And what I would suggest, start with the middle one, because then these two will align. So this is such a pain to kind of get on, and this is what I found works best. And it really takes no time at all if you use something like this. If you don't have this, you know, just be creative. You could use like a butter knife, just something flat and hard that could just kind of put a little bit of gentle force to get these kind of slotted on. Safest way and best way to avoid damaging your figure, honestly. Yeah, so give that a try. Don't get a headache and don't get angry trying to put these back on, because trust me, they're very difficult if you don't use something to help you. Okay, I'll show you kind of the accessories now. So she does come with this gladius, and nothing unique here. Like if you've owned any one of these figures in the past, it's the exact same gladius to my knowledge. And just pull it out. And yeah, look at this $48 figure giving an actual functional sheath. And you have $100, $120 figure arts that give you that stupid crap that just breaks off at the hilt, and a non-functional sheath because they're too cheap to mill one out. And look how gorgeous this looks. Okay. And they give you two, actually. You get one for her kind of Pugio here. That's just a Roman dagger. Try to get it to focus. Yep. And that looks pretty damn good. A bit chunky, but that's okay. Okay. And I already showed you our helmet, but I'll just show it again anyway. Very nice details. And you can take that faceplate out too if you want her face to show. And I already showed you the alternate hairpiece, kind of like the aristocratic Roman lady look. All right, and she does get this kind of like, you know, toga, whatever you want to call it. So you could make her wear that too. That just kind of slides over her head. Yeah, and you can make her wear that however you want. Just get this kind of floof. If you want to make her have this on with her cape, you can. Personally, I never really want to put it on. I might, and I'm probably not even going to keep the cape on her. I just don't like capes in general. But yeah, you do get this if you want. Okay, you do get a shield. I would have preferred like a more Roman looking shield. I guess like, you know, like those big rectangular ones, like a scutum. And if you had one of their old Roman officer figures, they do come with those types of shields, but this is fine. Okay, and just because I hate talking about accessories, I'm just going to show you like this. So she does come with kind of generic open hands, slightly more open hands, fists, and she does come with feet also. So that's about it. Okay. So this figure was 48 bucks, and would I recommend it? Absolutely. And yeah, she's still in stock, so if you're interested in this figure, you could definitely get her right now. And I actually have the other one. It should be shipping soon, actually. Berenice. I have the old Berenice, but I bought the new one also because they did update and kind of improve it. So definitely interested in that. And yeah, that's about it for this review. So if you have any questions, yeah, definitely let me know. And I'm very happy to say I didn't even need to warm this figure. I'm very shocked. Just XesRays definitely did improve their kind of quality control. Massive improvements. Like, these figures are just a joy to own and play with. So yeah, if you're into it, don't hesitate, get it. They're dirt cheap for what the market is now for 112s. And yeah, you won't regret it. All right, that's it. Take care.